Oh, hey, Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. I went ahead and hit record so you could go ahead and catch up with some of this already, but we're ready for you to get this party started.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Super excited to have you on here. So I take it everybody has met each other and a little bit familiar.
Absolutely. I really like these people you got here, Matt. This is going to be fun.
And Showami is a service that connects real estate agents with each other when they need help with showing homes. And so one of the things we always wanted to do is offer more to the agents than just connecting them when they needed help. And so this mastermind, kind of being the first one, is an attempt to, really get back to help. And one of the things that I've noticed is there's agents who need help, right? They get into the business, and a lot of the times they join Showami because they need to make extra money. They're new in their career. They need the experience, but they're also just like, give me some money. I've just paid all these fees to get into this industry, and now it's just draining my bank account. So Showami is a great way to make a little bit of money going out showing. You get to network with other agents, and so. But I see some of them make it and some don't. And I really wanted to be part of the solution and helping more and more make it. On the flip side, I also see agents who are much like myself after being in the business for a while, so busy, overwhelmed, overworked, and needed the solution with help with showings. And so, I want to help them to understand how to use it and how to leverage and really increase their business. So anyway, today we've got two coaches that are joining us. I'd like to introduce them. The first one is Jessica Peterson. Jessica is an author, speaker, and coach to many in the real estate industry. She's been featured on many real estate podcasts and is an advisor to leaders in the real estate industry. Jessica is also an agent, active agent in Sarasota, Florida, and focuses mostly in the luxury market. Dan Rochon is an author, real estate coach, and runs a real estate team in Falls Church, Virginia. Dan also created the Consistent and Predictable Income Community podcast, which can be found on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So thank you guys for joining us today. And so let's jump into the first question from Casey, who is an agent with Realty Executives in Knoxville. Hey, Casey, how can we help you?
So my question was, how do I handle going from like super busy to then like unemployed with my business?
That's a great question. I would love to hear what Dan has to say because Dan, and then Matt and I will chime in as well with insight. Okay. Dan is a superstar in this because the title, Consistent, Predictable Income, I really believe he's the expert in that consistency. So go ahead, Dan. Dan's the man.
All right. Hi, Casey. Thank you for the question. And so to be able to, so what I hear you saying is, how do we go from like nonstop, 100%, million miles a mile an hour to, oh crap, where am I going to get a paycheck? Yeah. And so that is a common, that's a common thing that a lot of agents experience. And the solution to that rests within the busy part, not the dull part, because that's a very, once upon a time, I used to own a rather large real estate brokerage, and I would evaluate agents' businesses. And it wasn't uncommon to see an agent's business to have 2 or 3 transactions in March, nothing in April, nothing in May, and then 1, 2, or 3 in June. And that's a very, very common, experience. And what happens is that the agents would start working with those 1 or 2 or 3 clients, and then you spend all your time devoted to doing that. So what I found is to be able to avoid that is to spend, even if you commit to 45 minutes a day, I'm going to seek business opportunities. Now, a lot of real estate coaches will say 3 hours a day, which I can resonate with, yet I'd rather see you commit to 45 minutes a day and do it rather than say, I'm going to do 3 hours a day and then struggle with finding business opportunities. And so if you could commit to that today, from now until the end of your real estate career, is to spend a segment of your day every single day to finding business opportunities, you recognize that you're in the lead generation business, specialize in real estate sales, then it will eliminate that piece of those 1 or 2 or 3 months of zero income and that anxiety that we feel when you experience that.
I really like that, Dan. And to go along with that, one of my mentors, he would close 240 deals a year. He said it was a simple formula. People would always ask, can we watch you, can we, follow you around to see how you do it? And he said it wasn't that fancy of a method. He said, I just take 4 hours working in the business and 4 hours working on the business every day. And, part of that was hiring out. Right now I'm training a group of real estate agents, and one of them said, wow, just getting a transaction coordinator freed up so much time for me. And now she's able to go out there and increase her time. Now the 4 hours a day may not work for everybody. And that's what I really like what Dan said, is to start somewhere with the 45 minutes. It's kind of like investing in a bank account. You put money in, put it out. You want to be investing every single day for that continuous return.
Casey, so tell me, when you hear this, what comes to mind, and what are you doing, and how?
Yeah, I think that I can kind of I definitely relate. Like, I definitely, once you get that contract or whatever, then I'm like focused on that, and then I like pull myself back from trying to like make phone calls and connect and stuff like that. So
Casey, it's why I recommend a smaller segment of time.
Yeah.
Now, certainly, if you could do 2 or 3 hours a day of lead generation, do it. Yet, whatever you say you're going to do, be committed to that. Be non-negotiable to that. Okay. So if it's an hour a day, then that is my hour a day that is sacred. And I recognize that when I spend that hour a day and I don't let that get distracted or sidetracked, then I'm going to avoid those valleys of despair that many in real estate agents, many in the real estate agent industry experience.
Yeah. The more you're prospecting, it takes pressure off the clients and off of you, right? If you've got several buyers in the hopper that, and you've got deals that are going, then you don't feel like, oh, these people have to buy this house, or I'm putting this pressure on them, because they can feel it. Our clients feel our anxiety. They feel, when we're like, oh, we got to make this work. So the more you've got on a consistent basis, like these guys say, it's just really consistent lead generation and offloading. I can tell you, I was very much a roller coaster. I would sell several homes, drop, lift up, drop, until I got a transaction coordinator. The transaction coordinator was probably the number one thing that helped me out. Later on, once I started ramping up into higher numbers, it was once I got showing agents to help me with the showings that I was able to leverage that part of my business. But yep, awesome.
Yeah. And Dan, I remember you once gave some really good wisdom. It's always good to schedule that time. If you don't schedule, it isn't going to happen. It's kind of like the gym. If you don't set that time, it isn't going to happen. So same with that prospecting. I always like to call it power hour, that prospecting time. Dan had great insight. We also have reality in life, like, your kid's throwing up sick, or, things happen, right? And when that does happen, just look at your day as exchanging time. Okay, so this hour, I'm unable to make calls of this. I'm going to shift it to this time. Just be careful you don't notice a pattern of that, because subconsciously you may be wanting to create issues to avoid that power hour. Be really cautious and aware of that vibration for that. And Matt, of course, I got to give a plug for Showami.com. So not only do I have a transaction coordinator, I also find, if I'm out showing real estate, someone calls and says, I got to look at this house now, then I just go to Showami.com. They can go ahead and I can schedule it and make sure they're taken care of. So it's really about creating those systems and that time around there, so you can keep maintaining the relationships and expanding your business.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Casey, Dan, Jessica. Next question is from Chris, who's an agent with My Home Group in Scottsdale, Arizona. Hi, Chris. How can we help?
Hey, guys. So probably kind of a bit of a loaded question, but I absolutely love your professional opinions. And man, thanks so much for doing this. This is actually awesome. I actually really like that it's a smaller group of people. That's great. Here we go. Where is real estate headed, and what should I be doing to prepare my business? And I ask this in the realm of, and then that was a great lead up question where I spend a large portion of my day prospecting, because I believe that's the actual hardest part of my business. So that's what I have to do, because that's what I'm the best at. So I use Showami. I use a heavy automation with a CRM, and let the robots kind of do their thing. And with, if I could implement even Showami into my CRM with showing requests, I'd do it, right? Like, so to try and really automate the process as much as possible, but give the feeling of a personal, application as much as possible. So like, when I'm seeing this and I'm looking at groups like Zillow and these larger groups that, have connected with multiple MLSs on they're basically a national brokerage. And if they have the ability to implement the kind of personalization that, that you could, like, think of it like with Flow, like the auto insurance, I'm buying a house from Flow, like they're able to do this. And I'm looking at this, like, what is the future of this? Like, where is this headed? And I just love your guys' opinion on it.
I love this topic. I would like to hear though from Matt, because you have something cutting edge, Matt, and I'll add to it as well with you and Dan. So Matt, what are your thoughts and insight on this?
So, all right, there's two aspects, right? You have, where's the real estate industry going in general, right? Like where are we heading? And we're seeing all kinds of things from the iBuyers and Zillow and a lot of consolidation and a lot of tech that's coming out that's trying to make it easier, faster, more reliable for both the consumer and for the agent. But then to me, it's the greater question is, where do you as a real estate agent want your business to go? Because, yes, there's a certain current that's going, but you determine where your ship goes within that current. So if we talked a little bit, Chris, that a lot of your business is already automated, right? You have a lot of the systems in place, transaction coordinators, you've got showing agents, you've got that, so you're going to have to look and go, what do I want this to look like? I do think that one of the things that we lack when we start to move in this, and it became harder and harder for me in my own personal business, was to have that personal touch with my clients, right? Because it's still, no matter what, it's a human to human relationship. It's a high touch. So I think using the technology to automate, to make things easier, yes. But I think looking at your business and going, how can I make it more human? How can I make it touch and connect? Will lead to not only a better experience for you and your clients, but the referrals that come from that, right? Because now they're connected to you. But where the industry is going, it's really like you get to determine, and that's a great thing, of where you want your business to go in. And when you look at your business, what do you think is the next step for you? What would you like to see different?
I want to add on to that, if I could, Matt. So I think when you ask the question about where are we going, I think it's more about acknowledging where are we at, because I think a lot of us don't recognize where we are today. And let's even take out real estate sales. Let's just take business. Well, first of all, if you don't recognize that real estate sales is a business, that's an opportunity. But let's leave that aside for a different question. So now let's look at just business. And where are we in business today? There's 4 things that I recognize in business today that are already here, that are already impacting business significantly. Those 4 things are technology, that I just heard Matt say, artificial intelligence, big data, and commoditization. The definition of commoditization, because we've all heard that word before, but maybe we don't know what it means, is that in the absence of a perceived value, the consumer will always go to the lowest price opportunity. So now we recognize that we have 4 major things that are already here. This isn't where are we going. This is where are we today? So now we understand, if that's where we are today, then what do we do about it? So, and I think this ties into what I heard you say, Matt. It's about the relationship, because what I believe in my heart is that we can amplify our own businesses by tying into those 4 components that I just shared. Hopefully 3 of the 4. Hopefully we're not tying into the commoditization. Okay. Yet we can tie into the artificial intelligence, the big data, and the technology. But we have to go the step further. The step further is exactly what Matt said, which is the relationship. And so now if we can systematically communicate through providing value and contributing to others that we already have done business with, that we're doing business with right now, and that know, like, and trust us, and we can add value to their lives, then we'll put that moat around our own businesses so that other businesses that only rely on technology, big data, commoditization, and artificial intelligence will not take over your business. And that's my thoughts on that.
Before I interject some of my thoughts as well, Chris, do you have any questions for Matt or Dan so far?
Well, I'm not trying to argue. But what happened was, like, because Matt's saying the human to human element, which is kind of interesting because his own product actually would suggest that you would have less human to human element. And if you sort of put them together with like a chime system, I mean, he kind of made Skynet, right? Like, this thing's going to come self-aware. At some point, someone would be able to, like, get on your website, request a showing, have it scheduled for you automatically, meet, whatever agent got assigned to it. And then by the time that person's ready to purchase, you're at your computer, simply writing the contract, maybe on the phone. And then I get what you're saying, Dan, where you're saying that from a business perspective, the way to beat that, I don't know, the giants, the people that are trying to make real estate agents a commodity, is by adding that human element, and that's making it very personalized. And so I guess, can you think of the way that would look, where we're creating a personalized experience, but also not having to talk to people?
Chris. Okay. So Chris, I serve on the chair for the Board of Realtors out here for technology. So as chair, we and the committee, we're always wanting to stay on top of the future and technology and where things are going. So good news, I do my best to stay on top of it, and I have amazing people doing that with me. The bad news, I also have had to sign NDAs for some big companies, and I do know what's coming, so I really can't reveal that. What I will say is I had an experience.
Wait, what?
I had an experience that I believe is going to challenge everyone listening today, and Matt knows this experience. So I don't know if Matt knows where I'm going with this. So first of all, anybody out there wanting to see a house, what is going to incline them to call you versus just searching on the internet and scheduling a showing through the internet? I'm challenge anybody listening, or even you guys, anybody, what value, which goes along with what Dan said, what value do you provide? Because what's going to prevent someone from not just going on the internet?
I believe, authority.
Okay. Authority and what? Providing value of some sort, right?
Yeah. Like Matt said, it's, or Dan, to not become a commodity, you have to very quickly, like elevator speech, explain your value.
Yes.
And you also have to have authority. Like, they have to trust you as the authoritative figure to be like, hey, I want to see this house. Can you set it up? So you have to kind of create that as quickly as possible, and seamlessly, but almost through a virtual environment.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. So I explained to Matt the other day, I went to go show a client a house. So before me, the person came late. So they were there during my scheduled time. And they came there, and it opened my eyes. This gentleman just met his real estate agent for the first time at that house. He found that agent online, right? And scheduled a showing with that agent to go look at the house. People after me, so they were behind. So then we're behind the next. So the good thing about this whole behind system is I'm watching what's happening. So before me, this person just found their agent online, met, opened the door. So I started thinking, wow, if they just met, what is not going to prevent that person from not the next house just going online and scheduling with another agent? What value is that agent presenting and delivering in a very quick manner? And I was watching it. It's a little bit scary, right? And so Dan's absolutely right on that value. Same with the one behind me. I'm watching, She just met the customer for the first time, scheduled online. What's going to prevent that customer not from just doing the same thing in the future? So it's really about the value. And Chris, I could tell you're brilliant because you said a key word about emotion, right? It's that emotion and that trust. So when you have that value and you present yourself as the authority, people are going to hire you. And what's fascinating to me, a niche, I have several real estate agents here who've hired me to be their agent. Kind of sounds crazy, right? Because they say, you've got this authority, you've got this knowledge that we don't have to get it. So these real estate agents see it, which is great. And then also it's that authority for others to go ahead and see it and to present it. Now, I do have a training that I teach real estate agents on how to connect on that emotional level before they ever search the internet. So that way they connect with you on an emotional level, they know, like, and trust you, and they're going to see your value and go to you before they search on the internet.
Is that, so that's got to be specific to non-internet leads?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because you want to reach those people before they go to the internet to be an internet lead. It's a method and it's a formula.
So what I like, and you mentioned you did a showing, I wanted to tell you about an app called Showami. You can actually use to let them do, no, I'm just kidding. You mentioned doing connecting to people quickly, but I've kind of got to a place where, you saw somebody meet somebody for the first time in a showing. I've actually, with Showami, I've literally sold, never met the people, never saw the house, and still sold the house. And if I can work like that, that's how I want to do it.
So Chris, I can relate to that experience. I connected with someone, the authority and the emotional level. They referred someone to me to buy a house. I never met with them, did it all through Showami, showing the home. And we just closed 2 weeks ago, and she showered me with presents. I got flowers, I got food, I got wine. I'm like, oh my gosh, right? So it's all about connecting before they ever go to the internet, presenting that value, and you can utilize Showami. I never even met her until closing. I got gifts.
What about internet leads?
What about internet leads? What about them?
Well, I guess, how are you, again, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to drag this out. I'm just really curious.
No, I love it.
This is a great conversation.
Okay, guys, thank you. If I'm talking too much, just let me know. But because I think where it's coming at is not necessarily, of course, non-internet leads are kind of a different animal. But what I'm finding is with the integration of Showami and some magical technology you're talking about that's coming out, that may even make it easier. If you get good at internet leads and you're calculating ROI and doing these lead generation from different sites, then that's and you hone it in, you develop your pages, SEO and all that stuff, you're getting these leads, then it's going to be more about connecting to them personally, virtually, or even before you even talk to them, and understanding how that process works. I think that's going to be more and more vital as we continue on here, but I could be wrong. I guess that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah. And so internet leads, I've done those, and it's just not my passion, because I found it has a higher ROI on relationship building. I would love to hear Dan and Matt's. It just doesn't. Yeah.
I've done a ton of internet leads, a ton of, and it still boils down to the relationship. If you want a sustainable business, I have a gentleman that I'm going to go list his house tomorrow. And he originally bought the house that I met him 8 years ago. And I don't remember, it was probably after Craigslist at that time. It's probably Facebook. But regardless of however I got connected with him, I originally got connected with him through the internet. And over the last 8 years, I saw him a week and a half ago at a client appreciation party at my house. Well, guess what? Tomorrow, when I go meet with him, we're not going to be haggling over commissions. Remember that fourth thing? Commoditization, that's gone. The first time that I met him, I don't recall, but if I was to guess, maybe we were, right? Because the value wasn't there, right? So it's almost about understanding, say, yes, you have to supplement your business, or you could choose to supplement your business with soliciting business from the internet. Yet, if you stop there, it's going to be you're going to be really hard to be able to have that be sustainable through time. and it's going to be a harder business. It really is. If you could use that as a lead generation source and then add on there the relationship systematically, then you'll have appointments like I'm going to attend tomorrow where I'm not competing with anybody. I'm going to get the commission that I intend to be able to get, to be able to accommodate the value that I'm going to be able to provide for this gentleman. And it's a completely easier transaction all in all. And I started 8 years ago as an internet lead.
Would you say that that could be scheduled, automated, routine contact after purchase?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you're smart to embrace technology. You're smart to be able to, you know, I send a video email once a week to 10,000 people. I can't have 10,000 conversations in several years. Okay. And maybe 2,500 people will open it, you know, on any given week. That's still a substantial amount of connections of a one-to-many type conversation. But again, it's going from value. It's not, I'm not sending a video out saying, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. No, I'm sending a video out that's going to allow for them to get some information that hopefully will be useful to them, that would be something that they would want to know. And doing that systematically by embracing technology.
I agree with Dan. It's going to be a combination of technology and the relationships, continually staying in touch and providing that value. And I know, like, videos, Chris, I mean, videos, there's an amazing woman out there doing videos, and people just pick up the phone and call her and say, I watched 5 or 6 your videos. They feel like they know, like, and trust her, and they want to hire her. So video, I believe, is going to be also more of an integration of that relationship building.
I think the thing that we're seeing is that we don't have to be in person anymore to build relationships. You know, that is something that's definitely changed. And I would challenge you to think, even as Showami, do you actually have more relationships to build? It's important for the buyer's agent to build a relationship with the showing agent to where they know and like and trust them, and they're connected. That's in a way an extension of the agent, that, you know, they're involved. It's everybody's, you know, connected. You also need to communicate with your buyer before the showing, after the showing. You know, if you're relying solely on Showami to show the home, and you're not making a connection outside of there, you're really leaving your client at risk. You need to still maintain and build that relationship with them no matter what, you know, because they're going to feel like, oh, you just kind of dumped me off on the showing agent. We don't want that. We want it to be a tool like, you know, other like Showing Time. When we first, the agents who used that when it first came out for the listings, they're like, well, I'm not calling my seller anymore to tell them I've got an agent coming to show the home. Nobody does that anymore. Everyone uses a service, but they still, you know, give feedback to their sellers. Well, it's the same thing with the buyer. We need feedback from the buyer. We need that connection. I do think it's still going to be important all the way through. I don't think that's going to go away. I really don't. You know, we need each other, and we need the community. And that's really what I'm trying to build, is not just a service that connects, but a community, you know, that is there to help one another. Because it does. I want the showing agent who's just kind of getting started out to become the buyer's agent later on down the road, who's using us and, you know, helping somebody else. And, you know, I don't know. That's my vision of this. So.
By the way, just to provide evidence of what, Matt, you just shared, Matt, you and I have never met each other face to face.
Nope.
Jessica, we've never met face to face. I consider you friends. Okay. And I'm going to meet you guys this winter. Yet, get that. We've never met face to face. So with a buyer who's local, you could utilize the technology just like this, the video, and create a relationship, and use a showing agent through Showami, so that then you have that connectivity with that individual for the future.
And to add to that, Dan, you and I have never met in person. And although we've shared some pretty deep things about our lives, right? I mean, it's really about connecting on that emotional, deep basis. So even though we've never met in person.
Nobody wants to come to Florida in summertime. What's up with that?
I'm booking for November.
Everybody's like, I'll come down in December. Give me January,
I love it here year round. I love it. So
awesome. Well, anyway, thank you, Chris, Jessica, Dan. I really appreciate your thoughts. Thanks for your participation. Casey, it's just so awesome to meet you through this. And I want to invite everyone who listens to this mastermind to share it with any agents that you think would benefit from listening. And our plan is to have monthly mastermind where we answer questions from 2 or 3 agents. And so you could submit questions or comments on our comment page and contact page on Showami, and we'll address the most common and relevant questions. So I'll also, at the end of this video, I'll add Dan and Jessica's contact information if you'd like to contact them about their coaching programs or just connect with them. So until next time, thank you so much for joining us.
Have an amazing wow day, everyone. Bye-bye.